The Songhai Empire, a golden legacy of African civilization, long before the shadow of colonialism darkened Africa's landscape, the continent flourished with powerful empires, rich cultures, and advanced societies. Among the most remarkable was the Songhai Empire, a shining symbol of African greatness that stood tall in West Africa as a powerhouse of wealth, knowledge, governance, and spirituality. Its legacy reminds the world that Africa did not wait for Europe to be civilized. Africa was already advanced, socially, economically, intellectually, and spiritually. The origins of the Songhai Empire trace back to the 9th century when the Songhai people established the city of Gao along the banks of the Niger River. By the 11th century, under the leadership of King Diokosoi, Gao became the capital and the foundation of what would grow into the largest empire in African history. Songhai's strategic location allowed it to thrive as a hub of Trans-Saharan trade, dealing in gold, salt, ivory, and kola nuts, commodities that brought immense prosperity. Merchants from North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe journeyed to its cities, drawn by its thriving markets and cosmopolitan atmosphere. What set Songhai apart was not only its military might or commercial success, but its unwavering commitment to knowledge and intellectual excellence. Under the rule of Askia Muhammad the Great, who came to power in 1493, Songhai experienced a cultural and scholarly renaissance. The cities of Timbuktu and Djenne became world-renowned centers of learning, housing Islamic universities, libraries, and mosques. The Songhai University in Timbuktu attracted scholars from across Africa and the Islamic world. In these institutions, subjects like law, medicine, astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, and theology were studied in depth, producing an educated elite that guided the empire with wisdom and vision. Askia Muhammad himself was a devout Muslim who reformed the empire's legal system, standardized weights and measures, improved administration, and promoted religious tolerance. He also maintained diplomatic ties with Morocco, Egypt, and the Ottoman Empire, projecting Songhai's influence far beyond its borders. The Songhai Empire boasted spectacular cities that pulsed with energy, culture, and architecture. Gao, the commercial heart, was adorned with bustling markets, cultural sites, and sacred landmarks like the Gao Mosque and the Tomb of Askia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and resting place of the empire's emperors. Timbuktu, a name that still echoes as a symbol of distant wonder, was not myth but reality, an African city of stone and scholarship, faith and freedom. Djenne, with its majestic mud brick mosque, remains one of Africa's architectural masterpieces to this day. The Songhai Empire was not just vast, it was unified, organized, and governed. At its peak, it controlled territories across modern-day Mali, Niger, and Nigeria, encompassing diverse cultures, languages, and communities under a centralized system. Provincial governors, tax systems, military officers, and judges operated under a clear command structure. This was a realm of statesmanship, not chaos, of diplomacy and law, not disarray. The empire's strength lay in its ability to integrate various ethnic groups and ensure relative peace and prosperity over a vast territory. While Islam was the official religion, traditional African beliefs and values were not erased but harmonized with the Islamic faith. This spiritual duality created a unique cultural richness. Rituals, music, oral traditions, and festivals continue to thrive alongside Quranic teachings. Songhai spirituality was deeply rooted in honor, morality, community, and divine destiny. The Askias were not only emperors but spiritual leaders, responsible for maintaining the moral and religious health of the empire. Despite its magnificence, the Songhai Empire faced its downfall in 1591, not from internal failure but from foreign aggression. A civil war weakened its defenses, and Moroccan forces, armed with firearms and driven by gold lust, invaded under Sultan Ahmad al-Mansur. In the Battle of Tondibi, despite numerical superiority, Songhai's traditional army was defeated by the gunpowder-equipped Moroccans. However, even in defeat, Songhai did not yield easily. Resistance movements sprang up, new capitals were formed, and efforts to revive the empire persisted for centuries until French colonial forces finally extinguished its remnants in 1901. Today, the ruins of the Songhai Empire lie silent. But its legacy roars louder than ever. It remains a testament to the genius of African civilization, debunking colonial myths and affirming Africa's right to dignity, development, and destiny. From education to governance, from art to economics, Songhai was a civilization in every sense, a reference point for modern African leadership and unity. Let the youth of Africa and the world remember, before the colonizers came, we built empires. Before the missionaries arrived, we worshipped with meaning. Before the schools were imposed, we studied and taught the sciences. Before the borders were drawn, we ruled lands with justice. The Songhai Empire was not just a chapter in African history, it is a monument to the truth: Africa was, and always will be, a cradle of greatness.